Hi, this is Marco from CUSCEN, and today I'll be going over distribution, in specific for the food and beverage industry. To begin at the top, you would select distribution, and here you have your different modules. So you have your master data, where you can configure all your different settings, stock items, non-stock items, and so forth. We have purchase, sales, inventory, production, bin, and report, and we'll be going through these one by one. So if you're in the food and beverage industry and you need to make any purchase and requests, all your purchase and requests can be stored within the purchase request module. It's as easy as clicking add at the top, and you can put your request type, dates, department, currency, priorities. You can also add different attachments, material, description, quantity sizes, estimated price, dates. You can search through your price history. You can allocate a budget and view different approval details and who's sending approval requests and so forth. So those can all be managed within the purchase request. Below that, you also have your construction requests, any purchase quotations, purchase order, purchase bidding, purchase receipts, and landed costs. Like the name entails, very simple and easy to use. Again, here in the purchase receipts, you can store all your different purchase receipts within this module, like the date, vendor reference numbers, totals, total cost. And you also have the ability to filter these out by different periods that you can configure yourself, as well as dates and release and different projects, depending on what projects and what purchases you're doing on departments. Those can all be stored separately. And then you would click the go button on the top right to configure that as well. So as you can see, we have a very in-depth purchasing feature within our distribution. Below that, we also can keep track of all our sales, especially in the food and beverage industry. It's really important to keep track of your sales and your purchases, and you can compare them side by side. So here we have our sales quotations. All your sales quotations could be stored within here, including total amounts and approval dates, as well as what sales you're doing. You can really configure them neatly. Again, at the top, you would just click add, and you can do your different currency descriptions, any taxes that you may have, discount percentages, and those can all be stored with an attachment as well. Similarly, you have all your sales orders, just like your sales quotations. You could store a plethora of information and keep track of them. Any shipment that you may need to keep track of, especially if some items are more urgent than others, and maybe you need some stuff, especially if you're in the restaurant industry, some items are definitely going to be used more than others. It's important to keep track of different shipments and so forth. So those can all be stored within here, including warehouses and descriptions and different reference and vendor numbers, as well as tracking numbers and delivery dates. Those can all be configured and stored within here. And you can also keep track of any quick sales and cash sales that you may have within the food and beverage industry. So that's basically how you use the sales module. Below that, you could keep track of all your inventory. This is extremely important in the food and beverage industry, especially if you are selling a lot of items. You need to be on top of your inventory, and you don't want to have any bottlenecks in that sense. So here we have a very in-depth inventory module, and I'll be touching upon some of them. So for example, any transfer requests that you may have, those can all be stored within the transfer requests module here, and you could transfer between different warehouses or different locations, especially if you're a more franchise restaurant and you may need to send to different locations and you want to keep track of all those can all be stored within the transfer requests. Below that, any material receipts that you may have within your inventory. You can keep track of the posting dates, reference numbers, total quantities, and total costs as well. Below that, you can also view all your physical counts. So if you have an employee counting all your items and so forth, you can keep track of your quantity, any variances you may have. You can double check those. A method of physical counts can also be stored, and these can all be completely configured so that you can really keep an organized and efficient way of storing all your physical counts. You have your inventory by general leisure balance here. So you can see your inventory, quantity, cost units, total value, and you can export this file as well. So you can keep track of everything and see how much each particular item in specific is costing you. And then down here, we have our material FIFO balance, so first in, first out. And this can also be completely configured to your liking. And again, you could keep track of your manufacturing, expired dates, which is really important in the food and beverage industry, as well as any documentation, costs, quantities, and those can be periodically updated so you're on top and as efficient as you possibly can be. That's a quick view of the inventory. Below that, we have our production. So within the distribution module, you have your production. This is more towards other distribution, not as much as food and beverage industry, but again, you can look at your bill of materials. So whatever materials are being used within the restaurant and food business, all those materials can be stored here, as well as production orders can all be stored here, and you can confirm any production as well. So give it 2 cents of authentication, so you could double check it. Below that, we have our bin, and here you could keep track of your different bins. So your weights and packages and volumes and unit volume, especially if you're receiving big orders. And we also have a checklist here, so you can keep track of whether it's assigned, it's temporary, it's active, and so forth, or your different bins. And you can just check in. It's very easy, configurable, and quick to use. And it's, at the end of the day, very efficient way to keep track of all that inventory, and any transfers as well can all be stored within this module, as you can see here. Lastly, we have our reports. So we have a plethora of different reports you can look at, such as your sales reports, so sales by customer. And all you'd have to do is click on the report and then click the document type, your class, customer group, customer type, and then you would run that. And obviously, if you have data, the data would appear within the report, and you can then export this report. And we have a plethora of different reports, so not only sales, but also purchase reports, inventory reports. Those can all be accessed within the platform. As you can see, vendor price list, purchase request details, purchase order summary, and these are all configurable. We can add more reports if you need, and different reports that suit your business style the best. And we can really pull all the information you use within CUSCEN to send out periodic reports to your all your team. As you can see here, you also have an inventory report. So I'll show you one more example. If we open up inventory and we go to just inventory on an account, and then here we select an account. So, and then we just click run. All right, there, all your inventory on the account would appear. Let's see if we. So currently the accounts don't have any data, but when they do, your inventory of the account would appear, and then you can export it in that sense. Thank you for listening to my demonstration on the distribution module for the food and beverage industry. This is Marco from CUSCEN.